Good morning. Testing mic check. Please let me know how the sound is. I'm sorry about the technical difficulties. Not really sure what's happening. Want to make sure we can hear and I'm situated in a good spot so that we can get started. So I'm doing a mic check. If you could let me know if you can hear. Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's get started with the chart. Okay, one moment. Sorry about this. I am getting the mic and everything adjusted. I am. Okay. Think we are ready to go. So let's review real quick our daily chart. We have a high, low, higher, high, lower, low. So we have created a bearish breaker on the daily. We retrace back into a daily fair value gap where we rejected out of it. And we created another daily fair value gap where we also rejected out of that. We're sitting right on top of a daily volume imbalance that could push price up into these bearish value volume imbalances, excuse me, and we could reject down. So right now we're just watching what's happening. Um, we're still bearish on the daily until we put a body above this candle that would create a daily bullish breaker. On the 1 hour, it looks like we're currently in a market maker buy model on the 1 hour. And this would be our highest high for now until we get there. We created a 1 hour bullish breaker with the low, a high, a lower low, and a higher high. So price has pushed up and it could come down to retest the bullish breaker on the 1 hour, but we would invert all of these 1 and 4 hour fair value gaps. And if we get a close past this level here, that would constitute us going lower. On the 15-minute, we are still pretty much just in a range. This is our dealing range low. This is our dealing range high. And we're kind of just meandering in the middle. Price looks like it is heading for a 1 hour fair value gap. And we just recently took the high of the London session. So good morning, everyone. Thank you for your patience in trying to trying to get my mic and everything in the perfect position so that I can see the chat, I can talk, and you all can hear me. So what happened so far this morning? We currently are above our new day opening gap. Gonna go to the 5 minute and let you see that in one moment. Um, this here doesn't need to be here. We have news coming up at 10 o'clock. We'll have some alerts on another chart, but I don't want it on this one because I don't want it to be too cluttered. But this is our next target of the consequent encroachment of a 1 hour fair value gap. So let's see what happened overnight. So far, overnight, the Asia session came down and swept the mean threshold of yesterday's candle. We are currently sitting above the midnight open. We have our previous day high here at this level and our previous day low down here. So the last breaker block that we created was a bullish breaker block in this area. And I took a long in a different account off of that. So I just want to say welcome to everyone that is joining and is watching. If you could be so kind, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Share the stream with others. We are doing a $50,000 Eval account challenge. The rules and plan for this challenge is in the description box for you to take a look at and understand what it is that we're doing. It's basically just my journal of this account, and the plan is to pass this account, get it funded, and then run the other account I have, the other eval, concurrent with the funded account. So we're right above the new day opening gap. This here is the high of the London session, which we just took right there. Feel free to ask any questions in the chat. I'll be speaking when I have something to say, but I'm always open to answer any questions. Good morning, Rodrigo. And please come on the chat and introduce yourself. We would love to hear from you. Let us know maybe how long you've been trading. What's your trading level? Are you a novice, intermediate, advanced, pro? All of those things are helpful. And you can also feel free to play your favorite tunes on your end if you like music. I'm waiting for the 9:30 open so we can see what price wants to do. We have our upside targets and we have some downside targets as well. Now, when it comes to daily bias, I look at the chart and I just follow the order flow. If on the daily we are bearish, on the 1 hour we look bullish, I don't say I won't trade this or that. What I do is I just look and see what price is telling me this time. What is it saying? Is it saying that we're going to go higher or lower? I follow the breaker blocks to tell me which way to trade in. And as of now, we're not too far from our new day opening gap, which I'm sure will probably be taken maybe even before 9:30 open. Yeah, we're right about there. I'm watching to see on the 5 minute if we create, so in order for us to have a bearish breaker currently, we would have to get below this level here on the 5 minute. Very much still bullish. This was our 5 minute bullish breaker that sent price up. Price has tapped into it a couple of times, and it could very well come back and tap it again because it lines up with our midnight open price. We've already taken the mean threshold of yesterday's candle. So if we want to continue going higher past this and reach back up into our daily fair value gap that we rejected out of yesterday, I mean the day before yesterday, that's very much so possible. So at 9:30, I'm waiting to see if we are going to create a breaker or an order block or reconfirm a breaker or an order block. We've already taken session liquidity here. So I want to see if we're going to flip and come down or if we're going to just use these order blocks to propel us higher. These down close candles here are all considered a bullish order block. And these candles are just consolidating. So they're not doing anything and they probably won't do anything until after 9:30. I was looking for our P&L, but I don't seem to see it. I'll put it up later. Marigo, I am 48 years old, 2 years trading ICTConcepts, XIMB, Adobe, Mercado Live Brazil sales executive, now 100% dedicated to trading futures, NQ, and huge crypto enthusiast. No corporate positions anymore. Just need my freedom and tranquility with my family. Been following you, LP, Charmaine, TT, Ash, and great teachers. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you for being here. And I would encourage you to continue to follow and share with others who may be on the journey. I have a I come from a professional background as well, but I started in crypto as well. I used to be the crypto queen. So that's hilarious. But yes. But thank you for being here. So we normally don't count the new day opening gap until after 9:30, but it looks like we're already here and it's probably gonna push forward or go higher. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, tell them to come and join us. Let's get these accounts uh, funded together. So now looking at the 1 minute, we are creating a 1 minute bearish breaker. These are consolidating candles though. I really don't like those. I like something more clean. So I want to see how we react underneath this order block here. And that'll also give me a little time to see what the 5 minute wants to do. And here are, I'm looking at S&P. S&P has also, or ES, has also taken its London high. Dollar is at its London high as well, but it has not taken it. So the indices and dollar are at this current time in the same position. So what it's looking like, we have the equilibrium of the London range here, and we could very well be setting up a run down into the midnight open to bounce up, or we could flip and continue going down. We have 9:30 open, and then we also have the news. Absolutely. I used to try to trade crypto, and it was okay. I made the most money just holding. I was buying and selling as well, but I find futures to be better for me as far as, intraday trading. Good morning, Jen. How are you today? If you guys could let me know how the sound is today, I hope it's nice and clear. Do I need to turn the volume up? I don't want to blow anyone's eardrums out, but I want to make sure that you guys can hear me. Thank you. Okay. So now we wait. We have about 6 minutes till the 9:30 open. Yeah, I get a lot of that with Tradeovate. I also trade through that platform, and I'm not really sure why it does that. They have a lot of issues. They really do. I'm just watching these bullish order blocks on the 5 minute. We're inside of a 15-minute fair value gap that we rejected out of. So what I try to do is at 9:30 again, I like to find out what is price doing and where is it trying to go or manipulate to. I want to see, do we create a breaker? Like in this case, if we get above these highs, that will become a 1 minute breaker. We have a low, high, lower, low. But I'm also watching the 5 minute because this is the order block here. Price has already tapped that, and we could push up. Price at 9:30 may also want to come deeper into this order block. But if we close below this low here, and I'll just use this candle, which is also the equilibrium of London's range, because if you're new to us and you're just joining, I always point out that the equilibrium of the previous session's range is a point of liquidity. We also have the midnight open here, and then we have previous day's low and session lows below that. So I want to be able to ensure that we're just tracking price and trying to see what it actually wants to do. If price goes above this level, this will now become our potential 5-minute bearish breaker, and then I will move this up. So far on the 1 minute, we have confirmed a 1 minute bearish breaker here. Now, will that be respected or disrespected? We will have to see because, again, we are coming into the New York open range. The price may want to go ahead and balance this 1 hour fair value gap. Yeah, Jen, I have to trade off a trade of 8. I have to trade what my chart is. I just can't. I tried doing it off the platforms and it did not work for me. For continuation trades, I reduce my risk because that is not an A plus setup for me. It's not my strongest suit. I am getting better and I back test and, have a system for taking continuation trades, but I don't go full risk when I am not as clear or sure about what price is doing. Okay, a couple of seconds before the session range open. Let's see if we confirm this wedge breaker here, or if it's going to be respecting this bearish breaker that we created on the 1 minute. Okay. So we went above that high. That makes this now our new bearish breaker on the 1 minute and the 5 minute. Mhm. We did not get a close above this high, so we do not have a bullish breaker. Our next target would be this 1 hour consequent encroachment of a fair value gap above. And then beneath us, we will have the session range on the midnight open price. I'm just putting my position tools in place so that I have them already in place. Sometimes, NQ moves very fast. You don't want to be fumbling around when you are trying to enter and get in a trade. And the high where we are now is high. It just dug back into that daily bearish FVG that we dug into not yesterday, but the day before on Friday, I believe it was. That's this level here. This is the consequent encroachment of a daily FVG. I'm just watching the bodies because wicks do damage, but the bodies will tell us what it wants to do. And then we also have news, high impact news at 10 o'clock. Also, I reduce risk when I am entering a trade before 10 o'clock or before news. Let's see if we get a closure below. We did get a closure below. So let's see here. We got a closure below and a tap into it. First target will be the equilibrium of the London session. And then we'll see how far we get. We've swept these lows. Let's see if we're going to dig down into this one. Okay. So our first target has been hit. We'll bring this to break even in profit. Price could come back to retest this breaker. On the 5 minute, I want to see if we got to close below that breaker. Not quite, but we have about 3 more minutes. So now we're coming into the midnight open. Price could reject from there. I'm just going to leave this runner on to see how far down price may want to go today. Our next target to the downside. I hope you guys can hear the alarms from TradingView. Let me know if you can. Our next target would be our previous day low. But we have some session lows below us here. We're at the midnight open price. Now let's see if we start to get a reversal back up or if we're going to continue down. I'm going to move my position tool down just to see what we capture, if anything. At the least, we are at break even in profit. It's like we're coming back up, but let's see. Our previous day low is way down here. So I don't know how far we'll get. We have a lot of different targets to the downside. We have some session lows, fair value gaps on the 1 hour and 4 hours. So, but it looks like we're going to come back up. We would need to close above this high right now on the 1 minute to become a bullish breaker on the 1 minute. But so far, we have confirmed a 5 minute bearish breaker. And I believe price wants to continue down. Coming back into toward the mean threshold of yesterday's candle. And at the close of this candle, we will confirm another bearish order block. When you have an order block that's been confirmed, price has the right to come and mitigate that. It likes to come to the mean threshold, 50% of it, which is this blue up close candle. And that's where you would take entries to go shorter. The only reason why I didn't use full risk is because we are in front of a high impact news driver. But otherwise, if it was after 10 o'clock, this would have been a full risk. I would have did at least 7 contracts, 5 at 200 ticks, which would give us $500, and then let the other 2 or 3 or however many more run. So it looks like price is coming back into our order block, has tapped the edge of it, and it should reject down if we're going to go down. If we put a body over this, then that means we want to dig back up into maybe this order block here. And this is a bearish order block on the 5 minute. It is a 5 minute candle. All of this is a 5 minute bearish order block. I'll zoom in a little bit for you guys so you can see a little clearer. Let me know if you have questions or if you see something that you want me to expound on. You can put that in the chat. Now we want to see if this order block is respected or disrespected. It hasn't reached into the mean threshold of it. And if we are still bearish, we should reject away. We've come below the midnight open. And now we are just going to watch and see. Our price can come back up to this bearish breaker, which is where my take profit is. I don't want to see it come any further than that if we're going to go down. We've already mitigated or tapped into our new day opening gap, which was there. So if we get a body above this, that's going to let me know that we may want to push up some more. And so now we'll create a bullish breaker. We have a low, high, lower, low, higher, high. What liquidity did we take? We tapped into the equilibrium of the London session range as well as the midnight open. We've already taken the mean threshold of yesterday's candle, so we may or may not have to come back down. On the 5 minutes, price has come back into the 5-minute bearish breaker. And there we are. That trade is done. So now, sorry, we already have that. This is our 1-minute bullish breaker here. And we've created a now bullish order block out of the midnight open. And we could be targeting the 1-hour fair value gap above, or we could just be retesting the 5-minute bearish breaker. I'll show you the 5-minute bearish breaker. Right here. This is where we are. We flip above that. We are now bullish and we're balancing this price range. The price is not giving us any pullbacks per se to go higher. We have had the change in the state of delivery here. We have a bullish breaker and a bullish order block. We've created several fair value gaps. And I believe this here would be our first presented fair value gap. Bullish order block. Price can come into that. That could give us an entry long, or price is just retesting the bearish breaker to go lower. In the 5 minute, it looks like just a big move down, and now we're coming back up. We're still inside of a 15-minute bullish fair value gap, and they're overlapping with a bearish fair value gap on the 5 minute. Close above this down close candle will be a bullish order block. Could be used to take price higher. We've already come back into this first presented fair value gap. I believe that is our first real fair value gap. No, actually, let's see. I'm sorry. No, maybe it's this one. I don't use it that much. I'm still learning about it. But it's the first fair value gap created after the 9:30 candle. And so I see a lot of wicks here. It seems to be the first one. Do you guys use the first presented fair value gap in your trading model? Let me know in the chat. Welcome to everybody who is here. If you are not subscribed, I would love for you to please subscribe so that we can continue to build the channel and go on this journey together. Share with other traders who may want to watch um, live price action and trading and hear some explanations and rationales. So we're now in the 950 to 1010 macro. And what I like to do, what I like to do during the macro is find out what price is trying to tell us. 9:30, we created and confirmed a bearish breaker block. So that's why I took that short down into the midnight open, as well as the equilibrium of the London session, which is our previous range. We have now made a bullish 1 minute breaker, as well as a bullish order block, which price is in right now. And if I was to go long, it would be into this order block. Sorry, the 1 hour fair value gap. The only thing that's giving me pause is because we do have high impact news in less than 10 minutes. And so it could be a lot of manipulation going on there. So I want to be patient. This was a great entry to go higher. Anytime price comes back into a confirmed order block and your higher time frame draw on liquidity has not been taken, that is a good trade. Close above these down close candles will confirm another order block. And we'll have about 33 handles till our next higher time frame draw on liquidity. I'm looking at SMT for ES. ES is pushing near the the high of yesterday's PM session. So we have a session high on ES above. It has also taken its London high. Above this is our previous day high. We created and confirmed a bearish order block. Want to see us push out of that and head higher. We're now digging into the mean threshold of that order block, but we have not disrespected the bearish breaker. Did not get a body close. Just want to point that out. Now let's see, this order block here is a bullish order block. Bodies are, we're watching for the body. The body tells us what it's doing. It's at 9:33. Let's see. Okay. Was very, very faint. Yep. I don't know. One, yeah. A sliver of a fair value gap. Okay. Now we're in the midpoint of this order block. For those who are not able to see it with your naked eye. But we're back beneath the 1 minute bearish breaker and the 5 minute breaker. And price has already tapped back into this or I call it an inter-range breaker block because we didn't really take a higher time frame low. But these definitely can give you entries into points of liquidity where price may want to revisit. We have 4 minutes until news. And at 10 o'clock, then I'm going to ask myself the same question I asked at 9:30, which is, what did price do? Did we confirm a breaker? Did we return to a breaker? Did we confirm an order block? Or did we return to an order block? And where is the higher time frame draw on liquidity? Currently to the upside, we have this 1 hour fair value gap, the consequent encroachment of that. We're back at the midnight open. And below us, we have the mean threshold of yesterday's candle, which has already been wicked into a session low, another session low, and the 1 hour consequent encroachment of a fair value gap, 4 hour, another 1 hour, lots of session lows, and then we have our previous day low. Our previous day low is way down here, 480. Another thing I like to do is before the hour ends, I like to go to previous candle that we're looking at and find the mean threshold of it because price likes to revisit all imbalances and inefficiencies. I like to map out the mean threshold of the previous hour's candle. And so far, in 2 minutes, we will have that. So that's what that green dotted line is. To the downside, we have a bullish order block here. This comes up and then closes below that. That will become a bearish order block. And retracement into that could lead you lower. But also keep in mind, price could very well just plummet to the bottom. I'm watching to see what we do here at 10 o'clock. We've tapped back into the mean threshold of yesterday's candle. Now, will we get an entry? Okay. It's a mitigation block, I call it. Looks like price is just pushing down. It hasn't given us a entry function. And we're clustered right here with some session lows and fair value gaps. It just took some more session lows. I have a 4-hour fair value gap incoming. No entry function here on the 1 minute, 30-second, 15-second, 5-second is about the only thing that's giving us the entry function. But we're moving pretty fast, so okay, we have a confirmed 5-minute bearish order block. And now we hit the target. I'm watching my screen on the 5-second just to see how price is reacting now that we've taken a couple of these higher time frame levels. Morning, Corey. This is our 1-minute bearish order block here. We have 2 fair value gaps. We would need to get above this level for our bullish breaker. Close below these up close candles will be another bearish order block. Corey, did you trade today at all? This will be our bullish breaker if we get a close above that on the 1 minute. Okay, and we've taken the CE of that fair value gap. Mapping out our 5-minute bearish order block, which is here in this zone. It also corresponds with our mean threshold of previous hour's candle. This order block hasn't been confirmed yet. We didn't get a body close below it. But we just need to get confirmation that price is done going lower before we go higher. We do have a daily target, which is our previous day low, and we have a cluster of fair value gaps and session lows below this. So what we want to know is this: after the news 9:30 open, we manipulated up, and now 10 o'clock we're coming down. Is that manipulation? We've already hit the -4 standard deviation on the 5 minute right here in this zone. So I want to see some order blocks or breaker blocks be confirmed. So we did get a close below that, dropping so fast. Looking at ES to see where is she at. She's near session low as well. Also at the -4 standard deviation. We're inside the CE of a 1 hour bearish fair value gap. I'm going to assume our target is this previous day low here. That's another daily target. Price. We get a close below that. It looks pretty close. Won't want to see us come above that. We just completed the 950 to 1010 macro. This is a bearish order block. I want to see if we're going to respect it or disrespect it. But now that the macro is over, I'm not sure if we're done also with the manipulation. So I just want to see, get a little bit more confirmation. Would have to reduce risk if I'm going to go short, as we are already close to our target. So far, price has tapped into this bearish order block, confirmed another one. And I'm trying to see if we're going to continue down lower or if we're going to go ahead and flip higher. So we look on the 5 minute, our closest bearish order block is up here that we confirmed. And this one is not confirmed yet because we don't have a body that has closed past it. So currently the order flow is still bearish. I'm gonna risk 2 micros here. Stop will go above this high. I'll target the previous day low. Close above here will be our bullish breaker. We've confirmed a bearish order block here. We're in the CE of a 1-hour fair value gap. Next, we have another one. We get a body close above that. That will start to flip us up. Let's see if we want to go further down. We are pushing up, and I want to see if we get a close above this and confirm a 1-minute bullish breaker, or if we're just digging into this bearish order block to continue down. So I'm going to map out our range for the New York session where our equilibrium is so far. Want to see these two bullish fair value gaps be inverted. We're going to continue to go lower. If not, then we could potentially make a bullish breaker and continue higher. I'm looking at ES. It has not confirmed a bullish breaker yet, but it is right at that level. Here it is right here. Close above this red candle will confirm a bullish order block, and a close above these up close candles will confirm our 1 minute bullish breaker. On the 5 minute, we have yeah, we have an order block that'll be confirmed. That was just confirmed. So my bias now is flipping to bullish. At the close of this candle, we will have our order block. I'm sorry, our breaker. This could just be a pullback into the 5 minutes order block. Yes, has confirmed a 1 minute bullish breaker. This is the equilibrium of the New York range so far. This is our order block here. I'm going to take these executions off so I can see the chart a little better. I can zoom in a little bit more. This is a bullish order block. Price can come into this zone. And I would add more here, but I already did when I flipped and added my regular contracts. I should have waited a little bit longer, but we're inside of this entire bullish order block here. Price is permitted to come down here. We don't want to see it come past this fair value gap if we're going to go higher. So it looks like we are blowing through these fair value gaps. We are at the mean threshold of this order block. We don't want to see a body close below that. I am not over leveraged, but I have on too much risk to move my stop loss any further down. The price may want to take this volume imbalance. And so we are out. So now we have to wait for a better entry or to continue to let price do what it wants to do. Let's see how much was that. So this bullish breaker did not hold and we are continuing down. We've used all of, excuse me, my voice. We've used all of our bullets on this account for today. We have hit our max drawdown for this account. We're minus 1236. So it's not a good day for us. Now we hit what target that we were aiming for. We'll probably continue on down to the previous day low. And we are returning to, on the 1 hour, we are returning to the bullish breaker that sent price up initially. So now I have to get this account out of drawdown and back into the green. Okay, so let's review here. Here. So we were on side with price maybe coming down. We retraced back up, not too much deeply on the 5 minute, but on the 1 minute, we had some deep retracements. This short worked out and we could have stayed short, but it came back into the take profit area. So we were out of that trade where we won here. And then after news, we manipulated up, but not above or did not overtake this bearish breaker. So order flow was still bearish. We did create, after taking several session lows and um, some other higher time frame liquidity, we did create a bullish breaker with a fair value gap. However, price came back, closed into the range, and stopped us out. Um, I over leveraged in this area instead of waiting to see what price wanted to do, maybe to come back into this bullish order block before trying to go higher or adding more contracts. So instead of losing 251, I had 5 more contracts on. So that kind of almost doubled that, more than doubled it actually. And that took me out. So with a prop firm account, and we're at the previous day low, which was my original target. With the prop firm account, you can, in this particular one, you only have $1,200 max on the day. So I should have probably divvied that up a little better than I did. My risk management on this trade here is what got me taken out of the trade. So that was on me. I should have done a better job at managing my risk and not going in with the full amount of contracts until I was had more confidence that it was going to go higher. And by more confidence, meaning we confirmed the bullish order block, price came into it, respected it, confirmed another bullish order block, and then continued higher. In hindsight, I should have kept my original bias of the lower time frame. I'm sorry, the higher time frame drawn liquidity, which was the previous day low, which we just took out. So now it's almost coming up to the 1050 to 1110 macro, where we can possibly see this reversal. But I'm not going to switch to another evaluation or another account. This account, we can't trade. Sorry, I was hitting the mic. we can't trade this account today. We have to start over tomorrow because they only allow you to lose so much before you blow the account. So tomorrow we have to come in with a better game plan. And I'm going to try to continue to use my same measurements of risk because we want to get this account back in the green as well as funded. So we can continue to read as price continues to go down. So maybe let's see. Did we haven't taken the previous day high. I'm wondering if Monday will be the high of the week. Not really sure. But as far as the weekly profile, this is where we are. And this is another CE of a 4-hour fair value gap. We're going to put the executions back on so that we can get our screenshots for today. Are there any questions or comments in the chat? And one thing I notice, or one thing you'll see, is sometimes when you're very cautious, you miss the move, and then you make up your mind and say, okay, I'm going to engage. But now you've missed it and it's going another way. So you're balancing a lot of different things and emotions when you're trading. It's a lot to do and it's a lot to take in. But if you have a model that you know, I mean, like this was a unicorn. We had taken out some higher time frame liquidity, but our draw wasn't hit yet, which was the previous day low. And not to say that price had to take it, but it is a very good draw on liquidity. So timing the market is also another thing. You're just balancing a lot of different things and you have to just accept when you made a mistake or you were offside and manage your risk. And so my mistake was putting on more contracts before I was absolutely sure we were going higher because I knew that we had left liquidity down here. I used too many bullets at one point in time. And so that cost me my trading session for today. But I'll be back tomorrow and we're going to attack it and try to get back on top. And that's really all that you can do. You learn from your mistakes, you go back and you journal and you see where you could have made a different decision and go from there. But you can't allow fear to stop you from engaging the market and you don't want to let greed, get the best of you because as we're dropping down, a lot of people are tempted, or I know I was, to just hit the button and take my chances. But I was really trying to follow the order flow of the order blocks and breakers to see where we were going. And today it didn't work out for me, but it's okay. Tomorrow I'll try again. You don't want to go on tilt and you don't want to revenge trade because that will get you in a lot of trouble. Flipping around like I did when I was short, I should have let it take me out, reset, and then get a better entry. So those are the 3 mistakes that I made. I'll journal those and then go from there so that we won't make those mistakes again tomorrow. Good morning, Robin. Welcome back. I got your message. Thank you. Yes, absolutely, Rodrigo. And that's just how it is, you know? I mean, that's just really how it is. The market can do whatever it wants to do. And so we have to just take with that, take what it gives us and learn from that. Hi, James. Thank you so much. Yes, we'll be back. You know, I don't have the flexibility as I do with my personal account to sit in that much drawdown, unfortunately. So, you know, it is what it is. I just have to come back tomorrow. And so I don't want to be overly aggressive, but now tomorrow I have no room for B minus or C setups. It has to be A plus or nothing because we really have to put on the contracts that we need to get us to our goal. It's my pleasure. I mean, I'm learning too. This is it's a lot, especially live streaming. It is a lot, but there's nothing like conquering your fears or insecurities. And the good news is we can do it together. You know, I'm working on my psychology. I work on my emotions. I am just like you guys. I get afraid or I get greedy or I'm unsure. But the more I study, the more I back test, the more I live test, the more you see this, you get better and better each and every day. So um, I'll review what I did. And like I said, the three mistakes I made, I'm going to learn from that. I want to see what the macro is going to bring us. We may get another push down and then we'll clear this high. But when you follow your model, that's what helped you to be okay with the losses. We did have a unicorn. We had taken several points of higher time frame liquidity all the way down, and we confirmed a bullish order block. We confirmed a bullish breaker. We had a fair value gap. This was our unicorn. Unfortunately, we didn't go higher. Even ES confirmed a bullish breaker block, but it tapped its 15-minute fair value gap and left us. So sometimes these are, I think, what they call institutional order flow entry drills, where price doesn't even get to the consequent encroachment of it. It may tap or come near the top of it and leave. This just basically tapped into our bearish order block here, rejected out the middle of it, which is permissible, and then we came down. So what can you do? For me, what I could have done to save myself was not over leverage or not go higher in my contracts until we at least cleared this this mitigation block. But I didn't do that. And so we're sidelined for now until tomorrow. I just hate that I don't have the flexibility I have with my own account. And there we go. Now this here, this line here is the mean threshold of not yesterday's candle, but the day before, because we didn't take it yesterday. So today is a really bearish day coming down. But I want to show you guys this on the 1 hour. I'll move the executions for now. I already have my screenshots. We had a low, a high, a low, and a higher high. Price has now come into this bullish order, this bullish breaker on the 1 hour. We have about 12 minutes before this candle closes, and then we want to see if we're going to go up. But this level here will push price back into the upside. And then also, if we zoom in just a little bit closer here, we had a high, a low, and a lower high. Or you could say this was a high, a low, a higher high. And now we've, on the end of the close of this candle, created a bearish breaker coming down. I like to use the highest highs, but some people use any high. And so I'm going to get more clarity on that. I'll ask a couple of people who may be a little bit more versed in it. Actually, let me screenshot this. I get a picture of that too. So, because when I'm not sure of something, I want to get answers. So I'll get back with you on that one. Thank you, James. 4 hour bullish breaker block. Let's look. Low, high, lower, low, higher, high. Yeah. 4 hour and 1 hour, they're pretty much aligned. And so we could be rejecting out of that. We'll go back to the 1 minute and see. And now we are in the 10:10 to 11, I'm sorry, 10:50 to 11:10 macro. Now let's zoom in and let's look at this a little closely. This is our highest up close candle prior to the liquidity that took out our, well, we came all the way down here. So you could use this as your bullish breaker, or you can use the high if you want to be sure. Most times, what I would do is look at the 5 minute and see where that would be. And for us, that would be here. Because you want to look at your lower time frame for entries, but the higher time frame, you also want to see just about how far price can come or retrace back if that's exactly what it's doing. I had another execution over here. There it is. So we won one and we lost two. And that's the end of that for today. I'm going to clean this chart up just a little bit. And then I think we could go ahead, unless in the next 8 minutes we go lower, I'm going to go ahead and map out our mean threshold of this candle so we can see how far price could retrace for the next hour. This is real live trading, and that's the reality of it. Some good days, some bad days, but we endeavor to have more good days than bad. After we took the previous day low, right beneath that was the a weekly fair value gap. So we're still inside of a weekly fair value gap, and I'll show you guys that right here. That's what we just tapped into. We're inside the macro, so we could be setting up a manipulation to go lower, or we could go ahead and start pushing up to go higher. And I'll stay on until after the macro and see what we get. So currently, we technically do have a 1 minute confirmed bullish breaker. Let's see if we get a fair value gap aligned with it. This is the mean threshold of this hour's candle, so we can't count this until after 11 o'clock. January 2nd, 2 a.m. candle. What time frame, Robin, please? Okay, let me check that for you. So, man, I had a low, high, a lower low, and a higher high. January 2nd, 2 a.m. candle. Yes. But this here, these candles here can count as well. So it just really depends. Price doesn't have to necessarily come into that, but it did, which is great. So whenever I see like these candles consolidating in there, I'll also include that in the level to where price could come back to. Because price could come here and reject away, and you'll be waiting for it to come here before you enter, and it may not come down there. So it's instead of using like specifics, I just kind of use a zone. So for me, this would be a zone. All this would be part of the bullish breaker, if that makes sense. But yes, that's the candle I would be eyeballing. Probably would have been looking at this one though, or even this one. It is. It is very colorful. So now, after 11 o'clock, I don't think we made a lower low. Let's make sure. I mean, threshold is still in place. We have a 1 minute unicorn. There was no fair value gap at the unicorn level, but we do have this one. And we have a bullish order block that has been confirmed. We want to see price come back to this fair value gap or order block to go higher. And let's look at where our equilibrium of the New York range is. This is the equilibrium of the New York open range so far. So let me ask you guys a question. When you all create the unicorn model, do you wait for it to return to the level of breaker, or do you enter after it confirms it and you just get in on the next candle? Do you wait for an order block to be confirmed and then continue higher? How do you approach entering on your unicorns or breaker block entries? No, I don't. I don't see a bearish breaker block on NQ. We just confirmed a bullish breaker block, a bullish order block. And we are disrespecting these bearish order blocks that sent price down. So as far as market makers sell models, this was it here. And now we're heading up to the market maker buy model. Now, if I would have entered after confirming the 1 minute bullish breaker here, the first objective would have been hit. And then my next target, 300 ticks, and then the mean threshold, what the price is actually coming into now. So this is the same thing I did here. However, price closed back into the range and took us out. So it didn't work that time. The stop would have had to be below the low. Gang Jong, do you see a a bearish breaker on the 1 minute? Where? What time are you thinking of, or you're referring to? Should I ask? You can take the new day opening gap off because we've taken that. 10:15 on the 1 minute. Let's see. So we have a low, low, high. I mean, sorry, high, low, higher, high, lower, low. Here, yeah, this would be a call it an inter-range breaker block. It's just a breaker that's in between a range price. So yes, that could have worked. And then you would have gotten at least over 115 handles. So yeah, this was after I was done. I couldn't trade anymore after that. So if I had more bullets in my chamber to use, more available capital to use, I could have, yes, but I didn't. So that was unfortunate for me. Yes, that's a 1 minute. Are you saying the 5 minute? Let's see. Hold on, let me look at it for you. Are you talking about in this area here or down here? This is a low, a high, a low, a low. If we close above this, it becomes a bullish breaker. We also have a new 1 hour fair value gap up here. You're trading. Let's see. So we've taken liquidity from a 4-hour fair value gap. We've taken a previous day low and we've tapped into the weekly fair value gap. On the 1 minute, we have created a 1 minute bullish breaker. And let's zoom in so we can see if we do have, was there a fair value gap aligned? We closed on this candle. This confirmed it, but there was no fair value gap here. The fair value gap was here. We confirmed a bullish order block, which price can come into to mitigate, which is right around the consequent encroachment of this fair value gap here. And that should push price higher. This is also a bullish order block. Price can tap into it and reach and continue higher. If it flips it, then we're going lower. Or it could just be manipulation. This particular 1 minute unicorn or breaker entry would have worked. And then you also have to look at the time. Now, after 11 o'clock, right at 11, we've come back into the mean threshold of this candle, previous hour's candle. And I've been showing people how price likes to do that. So if you're wondering, like, well, how far can this pull back or how far can I go? You want to always map out the mean threshold of the previous hour's candle. What about shorting? There's nothing to short. We're in a 1 minute bullish market maker buy model currently. The only time you would short is once we close below this low here. And it all depends on your particular trading model. So I don't short after we've confirmed bullish breakers. Price is higher time frame bearish, yes. So if you look on the 5 minute, and I'll point that out to you real quick. Let me move these because I don't want anybody to think that we're in a trade. If you look at the 5 minute here, this is a 5 minute bearish order block. Price did just tap into that and we're coming down. So if you're convinced that we're going to continue lower into this mean threshold of Friday's candle or Monday's candle, today is Tuesday. So yes, Monday's candle. No, Friday. My bad. It's Friday. If you're convinced, then yeah, you could go short if you're looking at the higher time frame. But those trades you hold a little bit longer. So now all you can do is really find out what price is doing. We rejected out of this fair value gap. We don't have a body that's closing past it. So currently there is no bearish activity. We're still pretty much bullish. We've taken the mean threshold of the previous hour's candle, so we can go ahead and remove that. For those of you all who took the 1 minute bullish breaker, you're still in play. Nothing has discredited this move. But you want to remember that we are coming into the mean threshold of the New York open range. And that could be a place where price may want to reject down, which is 50% of the open range from 8 o'clock a.m. until now. We've come down, and now this would be the mean threshold. That you're welcome. When it comes to reading price action, you have to be able to watch the order flow from the higher time frames to the lower time frames. And as I pointed out on the 1 hour, we've come into a bullish breaker. We had a low, a high, a lower low, and a higher high. Price went up. It's consolidated, and now it came down to tap into this area. And then this would have been, even if you would have just set a limit order, you'd be up 130 handles already. And that's what people who do long-term trading or, who are able to hold trades overnight. But when you're intraday trading, you just have to find the best entries. And that always kind of comes with time. Now, close above these red candles will give us another bullish order block. And we have 2 more minutes before the macro ends. Are there any other questions? Now remember, price is permitted to come into this fair value gap and into this bullish order block, but we should not see, and even into this one, it could, but such deep retracements wouldn't make me very confident. We're consolidating, so price is going to need to either push to the upside or downside eventually. Looks like we're coming back into that 1 minute bullish order block. And we're about to tap into the 1 hour bullish breaker block that we tapped into earlier. I'll show you on the 5 minute. We only have this down close candle is our bullish order block. It took liquidity from the 4 hour fair value gap. So price could come in there to that too. But looking at the 5 minute, you see we're just making lower lows and lower highs. If you get a body past this, then you can expect price to continue going lower. So this bullish candle here was our 1 minute bullish breaker. But on the 5 minute, this order block, this was what I would need to see or would like to see close above to ensure that we're going to go ahead and complete the market maker buy model with us targeting the session high of 930. Can you show me an example of a value imbalance? Do you spot them? No, I use an indicator. Sorry, keep hitting this cord. Let me show you. You're here. This is an indicator. It's a volume imbalance. And I use here's some of the indicators I use. For this, I use ICT imbalances. So it maps out all of my, and then I use Nephew Sam fair value gap finder. Because those are things I just don't, and then I have my watermark up there. The rest of the stuff I don't even really use. Um, and I don't want to put too much on the chart for you guys because those who know me know I have a lot of like drawings and things on my chart. It's crazy, but it's my crazy and I can deal with it. I know what I'm doing with it, but yeah, you want to kind of keep it as clean as possible, but you also want to make sure you don't miss anything. And so for me, I have another chart where I mark out certain key levels and what's been taken and what's where price could possibly return to. That helps me formulate my take profits, my scaling in and out of trades, along with order flow. So that's why I do that. But for the purpose of the stream, I wanted to keep it as clean for you guys as possible because a lot of you all love like the white backgrounds and the clear charts. I don't have the mental fortitude to map out every fair value gap. Like I would know I'm in a 15-minute fair value gap up here if it wasn't on my chart. I would have to constantly switch back and forth. And, you know, fair value gaps are popping up every minute, every 5 minutes, every 15 minutes, and so forth and so on. So, to make things a little easier for me, those are the indicators I use. I don't really use like what is it, EMAs or anything like that, because those are lagging indicators. And I used to use those when I started trading. Of course, that's how you learn. And then once I found ICT, it kind of all made sense. So right now we're just consolidating throughout this whole macro. We consolidated and we haven't done much since then. The 1 minute bullish breaker is still in play. And so far it has given us, after we got a close above it, got your 81 handles. James, did that help? And a volume imbalance is the imbalance between, let me show you. A volume imbalance is the distance between the bodies of a candle. So here we had the volume imbalance because this closed here and then opened here. So that little sliver is your volume imbalance. This closed here and this opened here at the same level. So that's why there's no volume imbalance. And the indicator maps it out for you on all time frames. So I usually pay close attention to the ones that form on the 1 hour and above time frames. So James, let me know if that helps. And I'll stay with you guys till 11:30, and then we're gonna go because we'll be streaming for about at that time about 2.5 hours. So yes. Okay, great. I'm glad I could help. And if you all have any other questions, please don't hesitate to let me know. 'Cause we're doing this all together. Hi, Mark. Welcome. Yes, that's the plan. So I'm doing an eval. I'm doing a live eval. I bought two. They had a sale over the holiday, but I bought two, and I'm doing one to get it funded. And then once that one is funded, I'll start the second one concurrent with the funded. So we'll do another eval and see how that goes. I am a personal funds trader. I am funded with my funded futures, but I also have my own personal account, which I prefer to trade because it reduces the limitations that you have. But this is like a little challenge for me. And then, too, a lot of people were asking to see how I trade and how I process things. So I'm trying to showcase that as well. And it's challenging, trading prop firms, like ICT said in his lecture yesterday. They're not designed for you to win. They put all these barriers to your price, to your trading model or style. When I'm trading personal funds, I have more flexibility to allow a little bit deeper drawdown, but not so much with this. So managing risk is still number one in anything, regardless if you're doing personal or prop. And so prop just gives you a little bit more, you have to be a little bit more disciplined. And that's that. So, yes, I'm doing this as a challenge and just as something to put myself out there and see how it goes. I mean, I'm new to YouTube, so I'm just creating content. Um, but I'm not reteaching anything new. I'm just showcasing um, how I, what's the word I'm looking for? How I understand and process ICT concepts and how I use them in real time because real time is definitely different than back testing or hindsight. I see so much after the session is ended, but during the heat of the moment, you're definitely like, oh my gosh, I did not see that or I didn't look at it that way. And you also want to, I think this helps with psychology because I can be a little bit of an aggressive trader, but for the sake of being on live stream, and although I've said don't copy my trades, I know people will probably copy them. I just want to try to be as responsible as I can. So it builds patience and it builds discipline, which is the two things that I have personally battled the most with. It's not the strategy works. And another thing I'm going to probably tweak is moving my runner into profit too soon. Um, I noticed today and yesterday that I moved it into profit a little too soon to the zone where price could actually come back to. I should leave it at that invalidation point. But I kind of feel like once I've made money, I don't want to give any of it back. So that kind of bites me because in both cases, they have come back to take out my stop and profit and then continue on to the target. So I'm going to work with that a little more. I'm going to do a little bit more back testing and make a little decision about that. I've been trading futures now since 2023. I was I was ICT class of 2023. So I took the 2023 mentorship. I learned about ICT at the end of 2022. And I originally started getting interested in trading. I was trading crypto on spot, and then I was doing some futures trading with crypto in 2021. But I learned from the basics of what's a candlestick, what's a chart, what's an asset, I started on the ground level at the end of like 2021. So I have notebooks of notes, and I started out with, like most people, support and resistance. I was looking into Forex, and then I started hearing a lot about Forex and how it wasn't the best, and MT4 was, I guess not great platforms, how they manipulate the price. And so I found out about futures, and then someone mentioned ICT, and I went over his page initially, and I was like, what is he talking about? Like, he was just rambling, it seemed like. And I couldn't get with it at first, but I started to really hone in once he announced that he was doing a mentorship. So he was saying basically you can start here from scratch. And then once he offered that to us, I just locked in, started taking notes, started back testing. I demo traded for a long time, and not a long time, but some months. And I thought that I was ready to start live fund trading because I didn't start with prop firms. I started with personal funds. So I'm assuming that's probably why I prefer using my own personal funds. But I do see the value in prop firms. And I just want to point out if we close above this high, we will basically have another confirmed bullish order block going that should send us into the equilibrium of the New York range. And then we have this 15-minute fair value gap as well as this 1 hour, which I believe is the target because we've already taken external range liquidity. So this is our next point of internal range liquidity. And so, yeah, I started prop firm trading. I, I started researching that, I think, around February of last year. And then I got funded in April last year. So I do both, but I do prefer personal. And I would appreciate everyone who's watching if you could just hit that subscribe button. It really does help the channel and it's free. So share with people. I would love to have you guys back. Um, right now, we're just consolidating, but my belief is that we will go ahead and take some more internal range liquidity. One thing I want to point out, the session range, the equilibrium of a session range, either the previous range or the current range, are major liquidity points for price. So we could very well get up here, fail to take up this high, and retrace back down if we're truly bearish. So I always map out where price could get hung up at so I can start partialing out or taking profit or just being mindful. And Rodrigo, that's exactly what you have to do. When you find your weaknesses, you don't want to ignore them. You want to lean into them and figure out where you're going wrong. So for me, I've noticed over the past few streams that I've done, I could have gotten a lot more money if I wouldn't have choked out my stop loss. I'm moving it into profit too soon, especially after I take a partial. I'm like, I don't want to give the market anything back, but you also have to let it breathe because price has the right to balance those imbalances. That's what moves price. Price is only moving to balance inefficiencies and to take liquidity, which is other people's stops losses. So this is an order block inside of order block. So if we close above this, it should act as a propulsion block to just go ahead and move price on. It's almost 11:30, so this is about that time. And then you also have the 11:50 to 12:10 macro. And I think that whole hour or so is a macro. Who knows? But I mark out for the PM session, I mark out my 12 o'clock to 1:30 high and low because ICT said that that is the lunch hour. It's really an hour and a half. So 12:30 to 1 o'clock is when you want to mark out your lunch highs and lows. And then when those areas are taken and you see maybe a reversal in the form of a breaker block, you can start trading that into the nearest liquidity pools. And Rodrigo, you'll get profitable. It takes some time. I could definitely speedball this and over leverage but I didn't want to do that. I've done it before. That's how I got funded. In the last few accounts I had, I would just use 10 micros for 300 ticks. But that's when the market is moving in a good way and I'm getting A plus entries. So my A plus entry today was this 1 minute bearish breaker. We closed above it. Price came back into it. We came down. I took profit here. It came back up to it came back up into my break even and profit zone and I got stopped out in profit. Just wanted to make another high because we wasn't sure if we were going up to this fair value gap or not. And then we came lower. Now, had I left my stop loss, I'll just put it back on here for you real quick so you can see. If I had left my stop loss above the high right here, this pullback wouldn't have invalidated the breaker because this is the breaker invalidation point. And then we would have had a very nice rundown. I mean, amazing. So it's little things like that that I have been recognizing and thinking about as far as risk management is concerned. Thank you. And yes, stay encouraged, guys. I mean, all I'm going to say is if you are truly putting in the work, I mean, you do have to put in the work. You have to look at the lectures or whoever you're learning from, review what they're saying, and then go to the chart and see it for yourself. Do some back testing. Um, I back test on TradingView because I tried the what's that FX replay. They don't even have micro M and Q. I don't think they didn't have it at the time when I was interested. And there was a lot of network problems and I didn't like that. So I decided to just do it on TradingView. They have a new feature now where you can hit the button. The candles don't move the way they do on FX replay, but it's still manageable. But even if you don't do replay, just taking the regular chart and finding out what is price doing after 9:30. So after 9:30, we we confirmed breaker block. After we confirmed that breaker block, I took my short. And then after 10 o'clock, what did we do after 10 o'clock? After 10 o'clock, we had these up close candles, down close, up close. 10 o'clock, what did we do? We confirmed a bearish order block. So once this candle closed, this was my short. Now, of course, I didn't see that at the time. I was still a little bit trepidatious about entering short because we're coming into so many higher time frame liquidity levels, and I wasn't sure if we were going to get a reversal. But nevertheless, again, you have to be able to take the risk. So putting my stop above that candle that confirmed the breaker, the order block, it worked out. And actually, this could be still considered a breaker because we had a high, low, a higher high, a lower low. This was another breaker. This was another breaker. So I call them inter-range breaker blocks. But for me, the highest probability breakers are those that take higher time frame liquidity. And that's what we did. We took the London high, we confirmed this breaker, and this breaker did not disappoint. I just didn't stay in the trade long enough. And so when you start getting in the middle of the range and you're trying to decide if we're going higher or lower, you can get caught up in the chop, the manipulation, which was what this was. Took this 1 minute unicorn or 1 minute bullish breaker, it moved up, and then boom, me out. And by this time, I was out of funds for the day. I had went into max drawdown because I went in with too many contracts here instead of confirming that we were actually going higher. So now here, we're just chopping around, we're consolidating, and this could do that probably until 12 o'clock or later. So I hope this was insightful. We did not win today. We have a loss and we are in drawdown. It's a severe drawdown in my opinion, but I'm going to do my best to get out of drawdown and get us back on the map. And look at price. So now this is the order block, a bullish order block, and this is another bullish order block. If we blow through that, price is going lower. So I'll pause here to give you guys an opportunity to ask any other questions you may have. If you are in a long, you may want to start partialing out if you haven't already, just because you're not sure if price is still continuing down. We are on the 5 minute. On the 5 minute, we did not create a bullish order block. This is the one that we have confirmed here. No, we don't have another one. This was not confirmed. We didn't get a close above this level. Thanks, Chris. I hope to see you guys back here again tomorrow. We're going to keep chopping away at this account and hopefully we can go ahead and get funded because I do want to start the other account. But one thing I do find managing, I have a trade copier. I trade with Replicanto. So, but I like to copy trade my accounts together once they're funded. But for the eval, I'll do both. I'm thinking about doing both. That's the plan. And for those of you all who have just joined, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Please take a moment to hit the subscribe button. Also, consider sharing this series with other people, other traders. We can just hang out and try to pass our evals and make money together. So I would love to have you back. I don't mind answering questions. So if you have any questions, put them in the chat and let's just grow together. I am working on getting a Discord so that I can have a place to, in addition to the community tab on YouTube, I can put it in Discord. After the stream, we can, chat if you have questions or you all want to just kind of hang out. It's called the Unicorn Queens Hangout. So I'm in the process of getting all the necessary information in there. And then I'll be posting videos of content that help me understand ICT concepts the best. Like I have watched thousands of hours of content. I've taken thousands of hours of notes and I've taken thousands of hours of back testing. And that is how I built the confidence in my model. But it's always a process. So you're never going to just arrive. You're going to have losses. Losses are unavoidable, but you don't want to have unnecessary losses. And so I encourage you guys to not give up, to stay encouraged, and to continue to study. I don't care how many trades I win and how my account grows. I still study and I still put in that work because the better you are for yourself, the better you recognize what's happening on the chart, the more successful you can be in the market. So once that Discord is ready, I will make a post on Facebook and then I'll also start putting it in our description so that you can click on it. Okay. And so we're just ranging right now. Price will probably break out of this range pretty soon. So with that, I'll give a couple more minutes just to see if there's any more questions, comments, concerns. Hope audio is good. I hope your visuals are great. And I just strive to be a little bit better each and every day. So I appreciate your patience with me and thank you for hanging out with me. It's been fun. Today is a good day. I still feel really good. I know I can make the money back. That's not my issue, but um, I'm going to go and journal this and make sure that I manage my risk a little bit better. Okay. Well, thank you all for tuning in, and we will be back on tomorrow at 9 Eastern. You all have a great rest of your day, and I will update the community tab with our P&L, which is in the negative. Let's see where we're at. So we're down $1,215. So we have to get at least 2 to 3 more good trades to get out of the negative and then start getting into profit. So hopefully that won't take us too long. And before you go, please like the live stream. It helps other people find the channel and the content. Oh, you said what's your bread and butter ICT model? Um, it's the unicorn model here. Price came down and took a higher time frame liquidity pool. We tapped into a weekly fair value gap, previous day lows, session lows, and then we made a 1 minute breaker block, which is the highest up close candle before the sweep on liquidity. What I aim for at first is 200 ticks or 50 handles at 5 contracts. That gives me $500. And then after that, I have a runner that I like to target the equilibrium of the session range, the internal range liquidity, and then the highs. So I let that run. I try to get at least $500 a day just as a goal, but um, that's only if price is allowing that. I always try to find out where I can find some resistance. So the unicorn model is a breaker block with a fair value gap aligned with it. I also don't require a fair value gap all the time. I will take a break entry if I'm convinced that we are still going in that direction. Thank you, Robin. Have a great day. Shazad, did I answer your question? And that is reversal entries. Far as continuation entries, um, those are not my A plus setups. Those would be like B minus setups for me. And it would be after we confirm, well, like say in this case, we confirm this here. I'll map it out for you. This is a bearish order block. This price action retraced and we closed below it. These series of, actually, this here is an order block, those up close candles. And then this is another order block. Once we close below that, when you get a retracement back into or near this zone for this order block right here, this would have been my go-to to go short. And then I would have targeted the session, the liquidity below, which we had a lot. I'll go to the 5-minute or the 15-minute. Let me show you. I don't know where this goes anymore. So we had all these lows here. And then we went into the 4-hour fair value gap and this 15-minute fair value gap. And then we started to reject back up. So that's my bread and butter is the unicorn breaker entry. And then continuation trades, I'm still familiarizing myself or getting more comfortable. I know what it is, but I'm getting more comfortable entering those. I'm not as confident with that as I am with the breaker entry. Thank you, Gang Jong. And I hope I'm pronouncing you guys' names right. Um, if not, let me know. I can, you can type it phonetically, but I am gonna do my best. All right. It is 11:45 and we're still consolidating. So that's gonna end the AM session for me on stream. You guys, if you're gonna continue trading, safe trading. The 1-minute bullish breaker is still in play. We have not disrespected it. So if you want to hold, because we have the lunch macro coming, we should see some speed toward a target. And again, you're looking at the equilibrium of the New York range so far here at 585, and then the mean threshold of the 1-hour bearish fair value gap at 721. Okay, but there's no more questions or comments. I appreciate you all for being here, and I will be back tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Make sure to tell your people, share, like, subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you all again. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.